guys, and welcome back. Today we're gonna speak about the cost of living in Europe in 2026, and yeah, the difficulties that people face, especially the young people. So let's discuss it. In 2026, the cost of living in Europe is defined by pretty sharp regional divide between the high-cost northern and western nations and the more affordable southern and eastern regions. And as I found here a very interesting map, you can see that basically, if you compare the EU average, then the highest cost of living would be Ireland with plus 45%. And then again, you would have Finland and Sweden, Denmark, the Netherlands being pretty high, Luxembourg actually with plus 52. While the eastern part with Poland minus 37%, Romania being the best with minus 46%, Bulgaria very close by is actually less. So if we estimate the monthly expenses, let's say for a single person, including rent, they will generally fall into these brackets. For the northern and western Europe, you are looking about 2,500, 3,500 euros. And countries such as Denmark and Finland remain the most expensive, and Ireland and Luxembourg, as we've seen. For example, a single person in these countries might face an index score of 110, 111 compared to the European average. In Central Europe, it's actually a bit less, probably around 2,000 euro, 2,800 euros. Germany and France, you can see here they're pretty much near the average, plus 7%, plus 10%. For example, in Paris, the monthly expenses often range between 2,000 euro and 3,000 euro, and Berlin averages a little lower. In Southern Europe, if we consider Spain and Portugal, it's definitely less. They are popular for the so-called value for money living, and Spain still remains affordable. Outside the major cities like Madrid and Barcelona, with average costs between about maybe 100, 1,500 and 2,500 euros. And obviously, Eastern Europe is most affordable, with countries like Romania and Bulgaria consistently ranked as the most affordable. So here you probably can do with 1,000, 1,500 euros. If we look at the key expenses in 2026, of course, housing and yeah, rent is the largest expenditure. So, for example, a one-bedroom city center apartment costs roughly um, 2,900 euros in London compared to maybe just 600 euro in Sofia or 650 in Budapest. And also close to that is Bucharest. So then the utilities and energy, the energy prices reach record highs in Germany while remaining much lower, for example, in Eastern Europe. And it's a comparison to a ratio to almost 4 to 1. So you can expect to pay 4 times more in Germany than in Hungary, for example. When speaking about food, the monthly groceries for one person average 250 250 euros, 300 euros, maybe depending on the type of food you consume. But however, regular dining out in Western Europe can push this to over 1,000 euros. And then public transport. This is huge difference. For example, a monthly pass it's approximately 15 euros in Romania, but can exceed 100 euros in Ireland. So if you look at the two extreme values, Ireland and Romania, plus 45% compared to EU average minus 46% compared to EU average. If we check the cost of living in EU, again, from a European Employment Services EU site, they do acknowledge that uh, the cost of living in EU it's gotten higher and higher. So Western Europe, European nations like France, Norway, being generally more expensive, they mention because their economy is stronger, are stronger. It's not always the case. Uh, Maybe it's because the let's say um, people afford to spend more money there. But on the other hand, countries such as Hungary and Bulgaria can be more affordable overall. And if you compare, for example, the monthly living costs of one person in Norway with over 1,100 euros versus someone living in Bulgaria, which is just a bit over 600 euros. So they do here some spread, some calculation between housing, electricity bills, and public transport, leisure, groceries. If maybe we just take one category, we won't go. So the whole article, for example, groceries and prices. If you think 1 kilogram of apples in Athens cost almost 2 euros, where in Stockholm it costs close to 3 euros. And while Switzerland tops the price charts for bread, cereal, meat, and fish, these products are the less expensive in Romania or Slovakia. So yeah, definitely there are more expensive and less expensive countries in the EU. It was funny that they put here the happiness index that they consider one commodity that doesn't come with a price tag. I'm not sure how objective is this happiness index. The rest you can calculate, but this one seems like it's in the beholder's eye, it's subjective. They would say that Finland is still on top, maybe for people who like cold environments, with Denmark very close behind. Yeah. Uh, so going back, while high-cost countries like Denmark, Norway, Finland, Switzerland live in this, they lead in this livability due to high salaries and the so-called happiness index scores, whatever they would mean. You also have budget-conscious people often look towards countries like Albania, Romania, Poland, and Bulgaria for the best purchasing power. If you want to, for example, think about the rent that you need to pay, um, groceries, maybe some leisure spending, um, like they say here. Okay, maybe a meal out at a restaurant, a good film, at the cinema, a cup of coffee. So that price also is dependent on the region, being obviously less in Eastern Europe and being higher in Western or Northern Europe. But I think what they don't mention here, and it would be honest to put it, is the dynamics of these prices. So we had huge increases over the past years. So it doesn't matter if you are living in Finland or Romania, you would still face a sharp increase of the prices and the income not growing as much. Yeah. Thank you for the attention on the topic, guys, and talk to you soon.